because we have never really seen Ali what he would have been at his best, because those were the years he wasn't allowed to fight, 67 to 1970.
I would like to hear this from you, and I want the world and the cameras to hear. Who's the heavyweight champion of the world? One more time, we don't want no excuses. They may say the film was bad or the camera was broke. One more time, who's the champion of the world?
Those 3 years, probably the best 3 years of his boxing career. You know, his speed, and I think with all the trauma that he went through with the Vietnam situation, it was a devastating blow to his whole career, I feel.
In June of 1970, the Supreme Court reversed Ali's 5-year jail sentence on the grounds that he'd never been read his rights.
As time grew, the Americans' attitude to the war changed, and as that changed, people became much more sympathetic and understood Ali's convictions much more. They also saw, through the 3 years that Ali was off, that he was actually very sincere about what he believed in. And so consequently, it wasn't that he was so much a draft dodger as a believer in the failures of the draft.
Ali was granted a license to box in Atlanta, Georgia, and began training. But how much had he lost?
Well, obviously, 3 years out of any sport, you lose your speed, you lose that brilliant eye-hand coordination, and his feet, because he had brilliant coordination all over. And he came back knowing that he was still the greatest. But did he want to work as hard 3 years later, after all the success, fame, and fortune he had? Success, that's what changed him more than anything. The 3-year layoff, yeah, that was terrible for anybody, but fame and fortune changes you the most, and that when you become so rich and famous as Ali did back then, I think that was the biggest downfall to him, coming back 3 years and still being as famous as he was all those years, being able to travel and make money, not boxing, and do all those things. I think when he came back, the hunger had gone, the fire had gone. Although he still wanted to be the greatest and thought he was the greatest, unless you, there's an old saying, if you forget how you got there, if you forget what you've done on the way to there, it'll leave you very fast. And I think that Ali didn't obviously do the work that he done when he was 3, 5 years younger, 7 years younger. He took shortcuts, and while taking shortcuts in your preparation, all of a sudden when you're in sparring, he'd sit on those ropes instead of moving and using his brilliant speed. He'd sit on the ropes and take punishment, and a lot of people say that punishment that he took in sparring is part of the reason why he's the way he is today.
On October the 26th, 1970, Muhammad Ali stepped into the ring for his first fight in 43 months against the hard-hitting #1 contender, Jerry Quarry.
Ripping punches by Muhammad Ali to that cut eye.
People noticed straight away that Muhammad Ali had lost a lot of speed in that fight. He eventually stopped Jerry Quarry in 3 rounds, but it was quite noticeable that Ali had slipped a lot in his speed.
Ali's all business in there now. He fixes the end. Muhammad Ali pouring it on.
Ali was brilliant in patches, but the consensus at ringside was that the years of inactivity had taken their toll.
There's the bell, ending round 3 as Quarry returns to his corner.
Quarry's cut eye was deemed too bad for him to continue, and although he protested, Ali, or at least a semblance of Ali, was back. But the landscape in heavyweight boxing had changed dramatically.
The 3 years off affected Ali, I think, in 3 major ways. One, when he came back as a fighter, he was definitely slower. The legs that had been his #1 defence through the 60s were not there to the same degree. The second thing that happened was that in the period where he was in exile, another great fighter emerged in Joe Frazier. Frazier had won the 64 heavyweight Olympic gold despite fighting with a broken thumb, and then had, in Ali's absence, unified the heavyweight title. The third thing that happened was that in Ali's exile, that turned him into box office. And in fact, the 3 years off definitely helped Ali's box office appeal. He came back, he wasn't the hated figure he had been with many people before his enforced layoff. And indeed, it's a fact that he made more money out of the Jerry Quarry fight, his first fight back, than he made in any fight prior to that.